Watch Dogs 2. Grabbing a massive Ubisoft sandbox for less than the price of a cheap energy drink just makes sense. The sheer amount of chaos you can cause in San Francisco by turning everyday infrastructure into a weapon is hilarious. Faking gang hits on random pedestrians or manipulating traffic lights to escape the cops creates completely unscripted car chases. Sure, the driving physics are a bit floaty, but dropping $2.49 for dozens of hours of digital vandalism is a completely stress-free purchase. Planet Zoo. Running a virtual zoo sounds relaxing until an angry rhino breaks through a weak fence because you forgot to check the structural integrity. The animal AI and genetics system here is absurdly detailed, tracking everything from breeding lines to individual animal stress levels. The user interface definitely gets overwhelming when multiple habitats fail at once, but picking up a management simulator with this much depth for just $2.24 is frankly ridiculous. You'll easily spend 50 hours just perfecting a single monkey enclosure. Red Dead Redemption 2. Picking up this masterpiece for $15 feels like highway robbery. The sheer obsession with detail here remains unmatched, from horses shrinking in the cold to mud dynamically drying on your boots. Sometimes the deliberate animations feel sluggish when you just want to grab an item quickly, but getting lost hunting legendary animals or playing poker in a muddy saloon completely makes up for it. Dropping $14.99 on a gritty western that will consume 100 hours of your life is the smartest money you'll spend today. The Witcher Wild Hunt. Paying $4 for one of the greatest RPGs ever made is almost a joke. Even the smallest side quests here often spiral into massive political conspiracies or heartbreaking ghost stories. Yes, the combat can feel a little stiff after a while, and calling your horse sometimes results in him spawning on a thatched roof, but getting hundreds of hours of elite storytelling, monster hunting, and card games for $3.99 means you have zero excuses left to ignore this one. Metro Exodus. For $3, you get to experience some of the most terrifying, claustrophobic atmosphere in modern gaming. The tactile nature of having to manually wipe your gas mask clear or pump up your pneumatic rifle in the middle of a mutant ambush creates incredible tension. The voice acting occasionally borders on cheesy, but treating your weapons like rusty, decaying tools holding your life together never gets old. Snagging this level of heavy immersion for $2.99 is an easy card addition. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. $4 to feel like a powerful Force user slicing through Imperial bases is ridiculous value. The lightsaber combat borrows heavily from Souls-like mechanics, forcing you to carefully manage parries rather than just wildly mashing buttons. Backtracking through the confusing 3D holomap can definitely get annoying when you're trying to find one missing upgrade chest, but customizing your lightsaber piece by piece and dropping massive ATSTs for just $3.99 makes dealing with the navigation totally fine. The Last of Us Part 1. Half off brings this brutal, emotional powerhouse down to $30. The enemy AI is terrifyingly smart, actively flanking your position and calling out your movements to their friends if you miss a shot. Watching your makeshift weapons shatter mid-swing adds an incredible layer of panic to every single encounter. It's a linear, tightly focused story, meaning you're paying for premium pacing rather than infinite open spaces. Getting the definitive visual version of this narrative for $29.99 is the perfect excuse to finally experience it. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. $30 is totally worth it to experience the most satisfying sword combat ever coded. Everything revolves around an aggressive rhythm of deflecting attacks to break your opponent's posture. The learning curve is notoriously brutal, and you will absolutely hit a wall against certain bosses that forces you to rethink your entire approach. But that feeling of absolute dominance when the timing finally clicks into place is unmatched. Paying $29.99 for this level of mastery is a solid investment. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Under $5 for an entire legendary sci-fi trilogy is stupidly generous. Getting to carry your custom character, relationships, and terrible decisions across 3 massive games creates a personal connection most releases never achieve. The planetary exploration vehicles in the first game are still incredibly clunky, even fully remastered. But getting hundreds of hours of intergalactic politics, squad loyalty missions, and saving the galaxy for $4.79 is arguably the single best value of the entire sale. Horizon Forbidden West. Getting to hunt massive robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow for 30 bucks is a fantastic pickup. The combat loop of targeting specific armor plates to strip the precise parts you need for upgrade crafting is incredibly addictive. The climbing mechanics can occasionally feel a bit rigid, and the dialogue trees get quite lengthy, but sliding under a charging mechanical mammoth to plant an explosive trap never stops being fun, making a 50% discount to $29.99 very hard to skip. Monster Hunter Wilds. Scoring the newest generation of monster hunting for under 30 bucks is kind of shocking. The dynamic weather completely changes how the map operates, introducing massive apex predators right in the middle of a violent sandstorm. Figuring out the extensive weapon combos can still feel like studying a textbook at first, which might turn off impatient players, but coordinating with friends to trap a screen-filling beast is pure adrenaline, and getting a 58% discount down to $29.39 this early is a massive win. Kingdom Come Deliverance II. Seeing this drop to $23.99 is wild considering how deeply it commits to medieval realism. You're not a superhero. You have to physically learn how to read, maintain your armor, and avoid getting drunk before a fight. The directional combat system takes serious practice to stop swinging wildly and start striking with purpose. It's unapologetically dense, but picking up this massive historical simulator at a 60% discount provides an incredible return on your time and money. Stellar Blade. $40 for some of the slickest, most responsive action combat feels right. The parry windows are incredibly tight, making every major boss fight feel like a high-stakes, fast-paced dance. Some of the voice acting falls totally flat, and platforming sections can feel surprisingly stiff compared to the combat, but unlocking new outfits and mastering the aggressive sword mechanics will easily keep you hooked. If you love flashy character action, spending $40.19 is exactly the excuse you need. Total War Warhammer III. Finding this under $10 is crazy if you want unlimited strategy. Commanding hundreds of heavily detailed fantasy units, crashing into massive infantry lines is visually staggering. Managing your empire on the world map can feel incredibly overwhelming, and turns can drag on when multiple factions go to war, but paying $8.99 to lead armies of demonic creatures or dinosaur-riding lizards across a huge campaign map provides hundreds of hours of chaotic, large-scale strategy. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. For $18, you get an absolute masterclass in pure, unadulterated aggression. The sheer weight of your armor and the deafening thud of a bolter makes you feel like an unstoppable walking tank. The campaign is definitely on the shorter side, focusing completely on straightforward slaughter rather than deep RPG systems, but grabbing friends to rip through endless waves of aliens for $18.99 is the ultimate power fantasy. Far Cry 6. $15 is the exact sweet spot for grabbing a massive tropical sandbox to blow up, taping together literal garbage to make a rocket launcher and sending a combat rooster to distract guards is beautifully chaotic. Yes, the outpost clearing loop is exactly what you expect from the franchise, offering very few actual surprises, but paying $14.99 for a gorgeous map filled with explosive barrels, helicopters, and ridiculous weapons is incredibly entertaining filler for your library. The Quarry. $6 for a highly polished interactive horror movie is perfect for a weekend with friends. Every decision you make actually ripples through the story, usually resulting in a camp counselor meeting a horrific end because you missed one single button prompt. The walking speed is painfully slow, deliberately forcing you to soak in the tension. Treating this like a $6 movie night where everyone yells at the TV to save their favorite character is huge value at $5.99. NBA 2K26. Dropping under $10 suddenly makes the yearly basketball upgrade incredibly tempting. The on-court physics and player animations are sharper than ever, capturing the actual weight and momentum of professional athletes. Obviously, the heavy push towards microtransactions in the career mode remains incredibly frustrating for anyone avoiding extra spending. But if you just want to run a franchise or play local matches with friends, getting the core gameplay loop for $9.79 is a massive steal. Skull and Bones, $3. This goes from a highly controversial release to a genuinely fun pirate ship arcade game. Customizing your vessel with heavy mortars and ramming through merchant fleets is undeniably satisfying when you're not worried about a full price tag. You never leave your ship to explore islands on foot, which severely limits the actual pirate fantasy, but paying $2.99 to casually sink enemy armadas and upgrade your cannons is surprisingly addictive for the price of a coffee. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, finally catching a discount down to $40 makes swinging through New York irresistible. The speed you can generate by combining traditional web swinging with the new wind tunnels completely ruins the fast travel system in the best way possible. Some of the mandatory side missions completely break the pacing when you just want to fight villains, but swapping between two different Spider-Man on the fly to beat up street thugs is well worth the $40.19 entry fee.